Welcome to Podcast 83, a regular look at the news, stories, and trends related to Michigan's 83 counties from the Michigan Association of Counties.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Podcast 83, the podcast put on by the Michigan Association of Counties. My name is Stephan Currie. I'm the Executive Director of MAC. And today I'm joined by Michael Roof, who is pulling double duty these days. He is the Grand Traverse County Veterans Counselor, and he's also president of the Michigan Association of County Veterans Counselors. Did I say that right, Michael?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm the director of Grand Traverse County Veterans Affairs.
Okay, there we go.
And I'm the president of the Michigan Association of County Veteran Counselors.
Yeah, that's a mouthful, but we've had a long relationship with that organization, a strong relationship. And today we invited Michael to join our podcast just to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with county veteran counselors across the state. We know about a grand issue we've been talking about a lot at MAC. We'll touch on that in a minute. But first, Michael, why don't you give us a little overview on what county veterans counselors do as you in your role? You know, how many of you folks are across the state? What do you guys do for veterans, to kind of give our members a little bit of overview on that first?
Sure. So in the state of Michigan, out of the 83 counties, there's about 79 counties that have County Department of Veterans Affairs. Some of us are general fund funded, and some are millage funded. In overall membership, there's about 155 counselors within the state, within those 79 counties. Our duty is to help veterans and their dependents get and apply for any VA, state, or local benefits. That's the basic bottom line. That means, VA benefits, widows benefits, financial assistance, burial assistance, and we help them anytime they come to our office.
Yeah, and just to be clear, you guys, there's the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs at the state. You're separate from them, right?
Yeah, so the DMVA, or the other department, is Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. Those are state agencies that are tasked with basically being a referral source of getting it out and contacting veterans. They're state. Our departments are county offices under the authority of the county, not under MVAA or DMVA. They are not our authority, or the only funding they have for us is through grants and stuff like that. So we have two totally different things.
Okay, great. Now you said there's approximately 4 counties that don't have a department, but it really, if let's say a veteran, you're in Grand Traverse County, let's say a veteran from Antrim County came to Grand Traverse County, would you still be able to help them out?
Yeah, so some counties are restrictive, like ours, and my county's my county office is run by a VA committee that are members selected by the Board of Commissioners. And they have said anybody who travels into our office, we can assist with claims. We cannot assist them with financial assistance because that's tax money through resident millage.
Okay, good point there.
Yep.
How many veterans do we have in Michigan? Do we have a good number on that, on how many veterans that we're looking to help?
I don't have that number on the top of my head. And last I remember, it was like a little under 600,000 veterans in Michigan.
Yeah, that's a big number of Michiganders out there that could benefit from your guys' services. So what is most common when a veteran comes into your office? What do you guys typically find that they need most?
Assistance in filing for disability benefits or financial assistance. Especially right now, times are pretty hard on people financially.
Yeah, so how does that process work? Can you talk us through, when someone comes to your office, what your guys' role is in that process?
Sure. So when someone comes in, they have to prove that they're a veteran first and foremost with documentation. They have to prove they're a resident of the county. And then we usually have them provide a paycheck stub for everybody in the household, 2 months of bank statements to show that they don't have excessive amount of money to contribute to the emergency situation. And then we just kind of go through their expenses and have a conversation to find out what caused this situation and how we can help.
How long does that?
And finally, I should add this, that what we will do will resolve their situation. We don't want to pay for rent if next month And following months, they're going to come back and go, I need help every time. We want to fix it for them.
So you'll go beyond that immediate need. You'll fix that immediate need and then look long-term to say, hey, this is what we need to do long-term to help you out.
Yeah, yeah. And we have connections with financial advising organizations that will help them, right the ship
So
financially.
you're kind of like a spoke in the middle where you can kind of point them in a bunch of different directions depending on what their need is. You're kind of a one-stop shop for those veterans in a lot of situations that can kind of at least get them going in the right direction and then help them long-term beyond that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We use that term one-stop shop or wraparound services a lot.
Okay.
Because there's other nonprofits in the area that do fundraising just for assistance for veterans. So if they don't qualify for us, I'll send them out to that other organization that may have less restrictions on their eligibility and be able to help them out.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about the veteran grant issue that's out there that we talked about a little bit. Can you tell us from your perspective what's going on and what we think what needs to be fixed?
Well, I well,
you don't have to sugarcoat it.
So no, well, you don't know me too well. I don't sugarcoat much. So you've probably heard the story. May of last year, we got our allocation numbers. It was around $8.8 million. Counties applied for it. It had to be done and sent in by June. And then usually October 1, we get our $50,000 initial allocation. And then the rest, which is by per capita of veterans in your county, that extra you get at the end of the year as a reimbursement after you've submitted quarterly reports. Well, October came, everything was fine. November, December, January, and then February hit, and we got this recalculation notice saying that the money wasn't there. We made a mistake. When I talked to someone at MVA, they said, you argue about it, we'll just cancel your contract. There's a cancellation clause. I said, well, that doesn't fix anything for a county. And they said, well, that's what it is. We don't have the money. And I said, well, how can you make such a large issue, not an issue, a mistake? And they said, well, we predicted that counties would not spend the money. And that's why we have such a large amount. And they're saying it's only 3.5, but if you look at the real numbers, it's a little more than that. I think it's 4.6, but because of their calculation, they're saying it's 3.5. Either way, it takes a lot of money from veterans and these offices. 60% of the counties that take it use it for staffing, and some went from part-time to full-time with that money. Some use it for outreach. Some use it for advertising to let veterans know these offices are here. So, I mean, it's a huge, huge deal. And we've met with MVA several times, and they just keep saying the money's not there. There's nothing we can do about it. And they asked us to all amend our grants to the new amounts. And some counties, they're not going to amend their grants. And so we're trying to figure out how we can get this fixed. And moving forward, we've tried to work with them and say, listen, in 2026, just give us the base amount. Don't give us the per capita, because we don't want you guessing what that amount would be. Just give us the base so we don't have to amend these grants and we have an issue. Because like myself, we have grant contracts out there for what was based on the first allocations back in May. And I've had to cancel some of those grants or some of those contracts. And some contracts people don't want to let you out of and want you to fully expend the money on them. And that's pretty tough.
Yeah, and I know our staff here at MAC, we talked about it at the conferences, working with legislators to see if there's a legislative fix we can do on this, whether it be a supplemental appropriation or other options out there. I know a lot of our folks are looking at that and determining what may be an option or the best option to do that to make sure that the counties are held whole, at least for this year, and then we attack it in a different way the next budget cycle. So it's great that there's counties taking advantage of these funds, but the state needs to live up to those obligations as well. And while for us, that the 3.6, the 4.4, whatever that number actually is, it is a significant dollar figure for our county veterans. To the state, that's a drop in the bucket, right? That's nothing. That should be very easy for the state to make up those dollars in one way, shape, or form. So stay tuned on that, and hopefully, we can get to some sort of fix for that for our veterans across the state. So going forward, what are some other issues that your organization is looking at or working on, that county commissioners or county administrators may be able to be helpful for you guys on?
That's a tough question, to be honest with you, because I don't hear a lot of issues with local government through our offices. Sometimes you hear that the funding issue is out of a general fund, and that the office wishes they could be under millage because it would provide better dollars under their control. But really, that's really the only complaint, if you will, from the local offices. Like in my county, my board of commissioners and my committee members do an excellent job of supporting our office. And as you can imagine, BOCs across the state support veterans wholeheartedly. So it's not really much of a controversial office, so to speak.
Yeah, are there any other ways that county commissioners can be helpful to your members across the state? Are there things that they can be doing, or maybe some best practices that you've seen from some counties that could help some other folks out that may be watching?
Yeah, well, kind of what I just said. So there are some counties where the Board of Commissioners, while they're helping with funding, they don't work well with the office, even though they're supporting it financially. I have heard from some other counties where administrators are at odds with the county director or the VSO in their county. But just being a support mechanism as far as reaching out and getting them connected with other offices would be good.
Yeah, so keeping those lines of communication open sounds like a good thing to do, and looking at a variety of funding options, of course, is always a good thing, whether it be millages. Sounds like millages is more consistent for your folks. Not always an easy thing to get passed, but usually veterans millages, I would think, would be pretty successful if they get on the ballot. So anything else that I missed that you may want to touch on?
No, just actually getting the word out about what our offices do. We want to be a part of MAC because you know what? We are a county office that helps veterans, and you know what? At the end of the day, we help file for benefits and bring a lot of money into a county. Just around $39 million a year that veterans benefits flow into our county due to the work that our office does with veterans. So, I mean, we are an economic, engine for a county.
Yeah, that's good information. Well, I mean, going forward, if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to us at MAC or Michael Roof at his association. We'd be happy to get folks more information on anything that we've talked about today, and even if you have questions outside of that. So, Michael, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for the work you do for county veterans, and we look forward to talking to you in the future. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Podcast 83.